Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at Joy 99.7 FM in Kokomlimle at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telesol 4G, just a touch. Coming up,
losing my child at Kwamina is very, I don't know. Even at all, if I will lose him, at least I must find the body just to console me. But 3 days now, the body is not found. I'm very sad.
We'll hear the account of a survivor of last Sunday's floods at Ajay Kojo who swam to safety but lost his wife and child in the floodwaters. Meanwhile, family of a military couple that died in the same flood is urging government to fix deplorable structures to avoid disasters in future. Also, deep gullies on the Wager Ridge widening after days of rain. Engineers fear likelihood of a mudslide. We'll hear from them as authorities of Gas South Municipality hint of a massive demolition to prevent mudslide.
Because of the erosions, we are afraid, seriously. The situation there now has reached its alarming stage. We are sitting on the time bomb. Any landslide can happen over the...
We also have sports.
Still on Ghana's preparations ahead of this year's AFCON, Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah confirms there will be 3 scouts and a physical trainer ahead of the tournament.
And later, Labour expert describes Youth and Sports Ministry's new policy of employing young people to fix streetlights as unsustainable.
But the reality is that fixing a bulb can end at a certain point in time. It's not going to be forever. So why don't they get a known or contractor that is already in the system and get these people to do the job?
We'll speak live to Austin Gama, who is charging government to find a long-lasting solution to unemployment rather than creating temporary jobs. We have all that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. Wailing sounds from family members at Kaswa in the Central Region commiserating with your brother and survivor of the Ajay Kojo flood accident, Emmanuel Sa. Emmanuel's wife was part of mourners traveling from Tema who drowned with a soldier couple and others on the Tema motorway. Emmanuel, who was also in the pickup bed, managed to swim to safety but now has to deal with the trauma of losing his wife. His only child still missing. My colleague Maxwell Agbogba visited him today and joins us from the family house. Maxwell, you are in Emmanuel's family house. What's happening there?
Well, Enofa, it's all tears here at the family house at Kaswa Ofako. The crying actually got intense with the arrival of some choristers of a Methodist church here in Accra where Emmanuel worships. They sang hymns purposely to console the widower, but that rather made him burst into uncontrollable tears. The singing is still going on inside the room, and we have some family members who are on hand trying to console Emmanuel, who we understand has been in a very sorrowful mood for the past 2 days.
But how did he recount the incidents that happened on Sunday?
He says they attended a funeral at Tema. Just when they were about to leave, it started raining heavily. 3 people sat in the pickup, and 14 of them actually sat in the bed of the pickup. He says when they got to the motorway, the tire of the vehicle hit the pothole. The impact made the pickup veer off the road and landed in a ditch, or what I can best describe as a culvert. He says the driver of the vehicle, who is a soldier, died. The soldier couple, the man and his wife, who are also soldiers, who were inside the pickup, also died on the spot. His wife, who was in the bed of the pickup, and then his son, who is now missing, and then another child who is 1 year. You understand, is also still, missing. But he says they found, his wife at a place in Sakumo. We can hear him narrate.
We were 17 in number. 3 were in front, and the rest 15, 13 were at the bucket, and then 2 little children.
Okay.
After that, tow boats. See, from there you head towards a bridge before the Ashaman, the bridge one. So there was a pothole. It was flooded. So I think the driver couldn't notice it. So the car just drove into it, and the car jumped. So all that we knew was we were in the water and everybody was just finding his way out. It was difficult, very, very difficult and very traumatic. So for me, for instance, I came out 2 times. When you find your way out, then the water, because of the speed that water is going, the water will just go down again, and it was difficult. So I managed to find my way out towards the edge. Fortunately for me, I got hold of one stick that was in the edge.
Now tell us, when you landed, in the water, did you see your child and then your wife? Did you see them? Did you see them struggling?
That instance, you couldn't see anybody. I did not see anybody. But one survivor, she was saying that my child, she was holding the child, but she managed to get hold of him well, but because of the speed of the waves, it just split them.
She had to let go.
Yes.
But your wife, you didn't see at all?
The wife, I didn't see her at all. Losing my child at Kwamina is very, I don't know. I mean, even at all, if I will lose him, at least I must find the body just to console me. But here is the case, 3 days now, the body is not found. And I'm very sad.
Emmanuel Sa is a survivor of the Ajay Kojo flat incident, recounting the story to my colleague Maxwell Agbagba. That 11-month-old baby, we're told, is still yet to be found. But the family of the military couple that died in floods over the weekend is also urging government to fix deplorable structures to avoid disasters in future. W.O. Jabez Arthur and his wife, W.O. Sarah Kwaji, died in floods at Ajay Kojo, the same incident as they drove through the flood waters in the military pickup. Brother of the deceased military woman, Kinsley Ehiram Kin Kwaji, says a conscious government effort to avert such disasters is a sure way to immortalize the soldiers.
This flood system has been occurring year in and year, every year. It occurs every year. So the best way to deal with this is to solve it. The problem can be solved. I don't know why they are, I don't know even what to say. I'm short of words.
What kind of people were they? Beginning with your sister?
Oh, for my sister, if there's anybody in this world who all of us think will go to heaven, she's the one. And the husband, the husband is a nice gentleman, a very nice gentleman, a wonderful gentleman.
Now, Defence Minister Dominic Nitiwo, who visited the family, assured them government is committed to fixing the annual flood problem.
We don't want to lose one soldier, not to talk of 2 at a go. And the President himself was very much concerned about what happened. We'll try to ensure that whatever corrections we need to do so that nothing like this repeats itself, we will do it. It's in our interest as a nation to ensure that if somebody is going to lose his life, it's not because of carelessness or because of the work that we haven't done. These floods have become an embarrassment to us as a nation. This should be the last.
That's the Defence Minister Dominic Nitiwo there. Meanwhile, as meteorologists predict more rains in the coming weeks, some residents at Odona fear for the worst as they clear ruins of Sunday's downpour. They warn of an imminent disaster again if drains in the area connecting the new Odo drain are not fixed. Komla Adum has more.
Days after Sunday's rains, some residents here at Odona in Accra are still clearing the residue. 64-year-old Margaret Ansoma wades through what is left of a stagnant water. She is one of many many occupants in this compound who frets whenever the clouds gather.
On Sunday, I had to be carried through the flats to my room. It gives me heartaches.
For years, residents have been enduring the floods. Margaret tells me she was nearly swept away when it rained last year.
I've told my son I'm packing my belongings to move to my hometown.
All the occupants in this compound, including her children, had to move up when their rooms were submerged in flood waters. As many as 6 houses on this stretch were affected, and 32-year-old Nana, not her real name, says they are helpless.
When we see that it's about to rain, we don't sleep. We only pray to God to intervene.
Komladrum's report there. Now, joining checks at the Wager Range have revealed the deep gullies there, which have been described by environmentalists as dangerous, are widening following the recent downpour. You recall last year that the Environmental Protection Agency, that's the EPA, warned of its possible collapse. They said the hilly area, which is also an earthquake-prone zone, has developed deep faults which could trigger a mudslide. Maxwell Agbogba visited the area and reports residents are living in fear about the possibility of that mudslide.
I'm climbing the Wager and Kaswa Ridge. The once green and lush area has given way to a big brown patch on the ridge. As we get closer, I see deep gullies running through the ridge. In spite of the scary look here, I see a signboard advertising land available for sale.
Chief Biaboko. Okay, Chief, what's your name?
My name is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel Adai has been living at the Wager Ridge for 11 years. He fears the ridge, which is now mainly clay, could tumble down after heavy rains.
This moment, how this place becomes, it worries we people living here because of the erosions. So as we stay here itself, we are afraid because anything at all can happen.
I've now met Sharon Jajeto, who lives with her mother and grandmother on the ridge. She says walking on it feels like quicksand.
Anytime it rains, we get sad because when it rains, the land will be soft. That is why you have to be afraid of this land.
Months ago, when we visited the ridge, we saw the devastation caused by quarrying activities and the felling of trees. The vegetative cover had been completely removed, making it easy for the flood water to wash down the silt downstream. The results? Deep gullies have developed under many buildings, with some structures hanging dangerously. Our latest visit showed how the recent rains have further aggravated the woes of residents. Engineer Daniel Sowa works with the Gas South Municipal Assembly. He says there are plans to demolish unauthorized structures on the land and also reclaim part of it.
One of the solutions I was given was that we need to green the area. We need to grass the area because, grass would hold the silt from descending. The situation there now has reached its alarming state. We are sitting on the time bomb, and any landslide can happen over there because the erosion is keep on coming. Those who are staying there, some of the buildings are going to go off. We are going to have a massive demolition over there.
Engineer Daniel Sowa of the Gas South Municipal Assembly there, ending that report by Maxwell Agbogba. You can see the pictures and the footages on myjoyonline.com and also on the Joy News channel. This is the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, Labour expert Austin Game is charging government to find a long-lasting solution to unemployment rather than creating temporal jobs that he says are often duplications of already existing jobs. In 2017, the Youth Employment Agency launched modules like the Youth in Security, Youth in Sanitation, Youth in Paid Internship and Youth in Afforestation. Then we had the NAPCO just last year. Yesterday, the Minister for Youth and Sports announced his outfit will also introduce a program to train the youth in how to repair broken street lights across the country as a way of creating jobs. Listen.
What I've observed, and all of you are living testimonies, we purchase these street bulbs all the time, but lack of maintenance. 3 months, 6 months, they are off. Then we need to procure new ones. And it's affecting almost everybody here, members of parliament and our MMDC. So what we are embarking upon is a project for young people, to train young people in how to repair street lights and maintain them across the country. So when we start that project, members of parliament will be on board. So that some of you will bring people from constituencies for us to train them so that they become human resource, well-qualified people there for you to use anytime you have an issue with your street light. It's going to be a nationwide project we are going to embark upon.
So you heard the Minister for Youth and Sports, Isaac Isiama, speaking at the Public Accounts Committee yesterday. Let's go over the phone line and speak to Labour expert Mr. Austin Game. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So you heard the Youth and Sports Minister. You're going to create or train more youth to be able to repair broken street lights as we have it across the country. Sustainable?
Well, I appreciate the effort. I am going to speak to you from a professional, practical point of view. The politics of it have nothing to do with it. The ILO standard is that if you work for 1 hour, you are considered to have gainfully worked for that day. It's the adequacy of the pay that matters. Once they are going to train the people sufficiently to prevent them from, because the job they are going to do is delicate, that is climbing and fixing, bulbs on the street, and people who are not maybe known electrical type of people, is a very risky job. I hope and pray that the training, as I heard our brother talking about, will be adequate enough to protect the interest of those who are going to do the job, regardless of who they are. So I think it's a fair thing. It's good. It cannot be and will not be sustainable, but they may only do a portion. And I also pray that when they've done it, we'll have people to police it, because it has been done before, and it's been all removed from the motorway, even you can't get one. So I think it's important that the people are well trained. Half a bread is better than none.
Well, we're grateful for your time. That's the Labour expert, Austin Game there. But let's stay on this a while longer, because the Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Employment Committee, Richard Kwashiga, says that he's described it as amateurish and a non-starter government's plan to introduce a youth in streetlight fixing program. He told parliamentary correspondent there aren't enough streetlights in order for them to be fixed when broken.
The fact is that how many communities, outlet, where there are streetlights, for which reason you will say that you are training some number of young people in street light maintenance, and who says that there are no capacities even within the assemblies, to deal with street light maintenance. I mean, what he said, Honorable Isiama said, is a non-starter. I think it's more or less an amateurish. I don't want to go there. I think that it won't just fly. It's probably something that he just came up with when he found himself under pressure with the questions posed to him with regards to the national youth, youth leadership training centers, vis-a-vis he describing those institutes as dropouts, who are now, as a result of free education, are being, moved into the SSS, which in itself, the Youth Employment Training Institute programs are in themselves free. So, I mean, he just had to say something to bail himself.
You have Richard Kwashiga, a member of the committee in Parliament. But still to come here on the Midday News, minorities disputing claims by government that he's been shortchanged in the $180 million contract for the Saglami housing project. We have more after the break.
Hello there, my name is Araba Kumsin. I'm a producer of the Midday News. Now, it's that time of the year again for us to show love to our underprivileged brothers and sisters on the streets. Your superstation, Joy 99.7 FM, presents the annual Easter Soup Kitchen. This year, we warmly invite you to join us to feed, counsel, entertain, and provide medical aid to the less privileged in our society. We invite you to donate charitably towards the Joy FM Easter Soup Kitchen. You can do this in cash or in kind at the front desk of Joy FM Cooking. There's so much you can give. Bags of rice, bottles of cooking oil, soft drinks, cartons of chicken and fish, flour, pharmaceutical products, and many others. You can also call 0302 216 540 or 0244 663 968, and we will gladly pick up your donations from wherever you are. The Easter Soup Kitchen is powered by your superstation, Joy 99.7 FM, and supported by you, our loyal listeners.
Over 40 years in the business of repairing watches and still counting. This week on the Joy Business Van, we're with the owner of Daud Watchworks, Dauda Isaka.
Look at the TV, look at the stars. They show them, they zoom their watches, expensive watches. They are proud of it. Children, school children, wearing watches. They can never, derail my work. No.
Remaining relevant amid technology advancement, the Joy Business Van, on TV, radio, online, and on ground. It is powered by Joy Business and supported by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. It's time for sports. Benedict Owusu has the latest.
Yes, Emefa, the Black Stars technical team will have at least 4 new members ahead of the Cup of Nations. 3 scouts, a physical trainer will be engaged to help in a team's preparations going into the championship, which offers the country an opportunity to end the long wait for the AFCON title. Now, Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah revealed this in an exclusive chat with Joy Sports.
There will be, some people to join the technical team, and then automatically, I've not made my mind on the scouts at the moment, but we also have 3 scouts, to join the team. We'll be monitoring the opponents. Okay. So hopefully in a week or 2, everything should be put in place.
And are we going to have a physical trainer because we play more matches?
Yeah, automatically we will have a physical trainer and then an analyst, coach as well. So hopefully, as I said, everybody will be made aware of this personnel who will be joining the team.
Okay. All right, so that's Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah. The AFCON is in June in Egypt, and of course, there will be Ghanaians there to support the Black Stars. And the Sports Ministry have just released a statement with regards to fans that would be traveling to the AFCON. And it says it has come to the notice of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Some disgruntled people are fronting for the ministry as agents to convey Ghanaian football fans to Egypt for the forthcoming AFCON tournament in June this year. The ministry wishes to state that there is no such arrangement between the Ministry of Youth and Sports and any agent or person or organization. It should be made known that no individual Ghanaian will make any payment should the ministry decide to convey him or her to Egypt to cheer the senior national team, that's the Black Stars, in our pursuit of annexing the trophy. All prospective travelers for the tournament are advised not to deal with any person or persons or organization in this regard, and it's signed by the head of public relations at the ministry, that's Elvis Ejeba. And tonight UEFA Champions League action on. Last night we saw Barca progress at the expense of your team, that's Manchester United. 3-0 that game, and then Ajax. Wow, what a season it's turned out to be for Ajax. They defeated Juventus by 2 goals to 1. Almost every time when I'm talking about Juventus, I say Real Madrid because of Cristiano Ronaldo. So last night Ajax beat Juventus 2-1. Tonight we'll see what will happen in a game involving Liverpool and Porto. Liverpool going into that game with a 2-0 lead from the first leg, and then City Spurs won the first leg. So the game involving City and Spurs, whoever wins that game will face Ajax in the semi-final, and then the Liverpool Porto game, the winner will face Barcelona.
We'll see how it goes. And that's Benedict Owusu with the latest from the world of sports. Now, Minority, they've called on President Akufo-Addo to rescind the decision to migrate the Police Service, Bureau of National Investigations, Ghana National Fire Service, and other security agencies for the CAP 30 pension scheme to the SNIT pension scheme. Of course, they've described the move as a retrogressive decision. My colleague Elton Broby has this copy of that statement signed by James Agalga, a member of the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament. What is the reason they are given for this?
So first, MFA, they are saying that this decision was communicated to them by the Deputy Employment Minister, Charles Bright Rekurobi. And according to him, Cabinet has granted approval for the unification of all pension schemes under Act 766, which will ensure that all members of the security agency, except the officers and men of the Ghana Armed Forces, make personal contribution to the SNIT pension scheme. As you may be aware, this cap 30 days back to the Gold Coast era, And because of the unique roles played by these security agencies, they were migrated onto a single pension scheme, which is known as Cap30. The government wants to unify all of them. That's how come they are migrating them, exception of the Ghana Armed Forces, to the Senate. Now, the minority is saying that this will not augur well, and they are condemning this government attempt to remove the Ghana Police Service and other security agents from Cap30. They are acknowledging that the condition under which the officers and men of the police service and other security agencies work, for example, in most cases, personnel of the security agencies work more than the mandatory 8 hours a day for all public service workers. And for that reason, for them to be restricted to a pension scheme that recognizes only 8 hours of work will not augur well for the smooth operation of the security agents. I'm sure in subsequent bulletins we'll break it down.
We'll definitely interrogate this issue further. But let's stay on the minority, because it's disputing claims by government that it has been shortchanged in the $180 million contract for the Saglemi Housing Project. Addressing the media during a tour of the project site by Parliament's Works and Housing Committee, minority spokesperson on the committee, Emmanuel Bejra, says government posturing towards the housing needs of the citizenry, with particular reference to the Saglemi project, is scandalous.
Some auditing who are found culpable, they will be arraigned before court. We think that should continue whilst the contractor is still working on site. You don't stop the project, waiting for how many years to complete your investigation, which has not, I don't think it has even started, and for all these completed houses to go waste. Our point is that if there are no justification, if you have any problem, the court is there. Send the people who you think are culpable to court. You have not done that, and the houses are lying fallow here. People are not living in. Government has spent so much money to guarantee the loan from the Swiss bank, and we have put up at least some housing units. Let people occupy, let people buy it, so that we can roll out the rest whilst you are looking into the books of whatever you think has been done.
So for you, people should be allowed to occupy whilst the investigations
go on? Of course, my brother. We cannot continue in this way.
So that's the minority spokesperson on the Works and Housing Committee, Emmanuel Bejra. They're interacting with the media, but the project officer of the Saglemi project site, Silvanus Ativo, describes the latest development as a misunderstanding between government and the contractor.
Around 1,500.
1,500 workers to go home because this project has stopped.
Yes. And,
for how long has this been happened?
Let's say from November 2007, most of them, 2017. Yes. Some of them before then, yeah. So we have some few people around keeping this place up.
So that's 1,500 workers in general, all of them gone?
Yes, even casuals are not included.
Wow. The so the 1,500 were permanent workers?
Yeah, they were permanent workers.
And then as for the casual, you don't know?
Because with even the permanent worker, we have so many subcontractors who are working on site, so we are more very getting to 3,000 or so.
And all these workers wouldn't have their daily bread because this project has stopped?
Yeah, that's stopped, yeah.
So you hear that the project officer at the Saglemi project site, Silvanus Ativo, they're interacting with the media at the Saglemi site when the Committee on Works and Housing toured the area today. And later also we'll give you details of that minority or NDC press conference challenging the EC's communique regarding last month's IPAC meeting, arguing that the communique did not reflect the true and accurate account of what transpired in the meeting. We have more in our subsequent bulletins. Do log on to myjoyonline.com for more news. I am MFA Paul.